Today, we're going to talk about something huge, something that could literally shape the future of technology for decades. I'm talking about the European Union's landmark Artificial Intelligence Act.
All right, let's just get right into it. AI officially has rules now. After years and years of debate, the EU has gone and done it. They've created the world's very first comprehensive, legally binding rulebook for artificial intelligence. And let's be clear, this isn't some friendly suggestion, it's the law. So here's the plan for this explainer. We'll start with what this rulebook is all about. Then we'll dig into something called the AI risk pyramid. It's the key to how they've structured the whole thing. We'll look at what's totally banned and what's considered high risk and needs super strict rules. We'll also touch on transparency, knowing when you're actually dealing with an AI. And to wrap it all up, we'll ask the big question, is this the blueprint for the rest of the world?
Okay, let's kick things off with the big picture. You might hear AI rules and think the goal is to slow down innovation or just ban stuff. But that's not really the idea here. The main goal is to build what the EU is calling trustworthy AI. It's basically about getting ahead of the curve and managing the potential dangers before they become massive problems.
And if you want to understand this entire law, you really just need to get this one core principle, pulled right from the Act itself. It's all about a risk-based approach. Now that might sound a little jargony, but the idea is actually super simple. The more risk an AI system poses to our health, our safety, our fundamental rights, the tougher the rules it has to follow. It's that straightforward.
So, how do they actually put that risk-based idea into practice? Well, the easiest way to picture it is as a pyramid, one that's broken down into 4 distinct levels of risk.
Down at the bottom, the widest part of the pyramid, you've got AI with minimal or no risk. Think spam filters or the AI opponents in a video game. The law pretty much leaves them alone. Move up a level, and you get to limited risk systems, where there are some basic transparency rules. Then you get to the really big one, the high-risk category, which comes with a whole long list of strict obligations. And right there at the very top, the peak of the pyramid, you have AI practices that are considered an unacceptable risk to society. And those, they're just banned, outright.
All right, let's talk about that top level of the pyramid, the bans. The thinking here is that some uses of AI are just so threatening to our rights and our values that the EU has drawn a hard, red line in the sand. These things are completely off limits. So what exactly gets the boot? We're talking about AI that uses subliminal techniques to manipulate people into doing harmful things, systems that prey on the vulnerabilities of specific groups, and this one's a biggie, social scoring systems used by governments. Also on the list is a near-total ban on real-time facial recognition in public places by law enforcement, with just a few very narrow exceptions for things like finding a missing child or preventing a terrorist attack.
Now, to really get that last point, you have to understand a key distinction the Act makes. It's the difference between biometric identification and biometric verification. Identification is a one-to-many search, like asking, "Who are you?" by checking your face against a giant database. Verification is a simple one-to-one check, asking, "Are you who you say you are?" by comparing your face to your own photo. The law is way more concerned about the mass surveillance risks of identification than it is with you using your face to unlock your phone.
Okay, so let's move down from the banned stuff to the biggest and most regulated category of them all, high-risk AI. These systems aren't forbidden, but they have to clear a very, very high bar before they can be used in the European Union. So what makes an AI system high risk? Well, it's all about the context. A system gets this label if it's being used in one of the critical areas laid out in the law, areas where a bad decision by an algorithm could have a really serious impact on someone's life.
And trust me, this category covers a lot of ground. It's everything from an AI that grades your entrance exams for school to the software that screens your resume for a job. It's systems that manage the electricity grid, and even AI used to assess if someone's a security risk at a border crossing. All of these are high-stakes situations.
And because the stakes are so high, these systems have to meet a strict set of requirements before they ever see the light of day. Their creators have to prove they've used high-quality, unbiased data. They need detailed documentation that explains how the thing actually works. And this is absolutely crucial. They have to ensure there's effective human oversight, so a person can always step in and override the machine. It's all about baking safety and accountability in from the very beginning.
So let's move a little further down the pyramid to the limited risk category. This is where the law tackles the kind of AI you might interact with every day. And the main principle here isn't restriction, it's transparency. I mean, we've all been there, right? You're scrolling online, you see an image or a video, and you have that moment of doubt. Is this real or is this a deepfake? Well, the AI Act has a very clear rule to deal with exactly that problem.
The rule is simple. If an AI system is used to generate or manipulate image, audio, or video content that looks authentic, it has to be clearly labeled. The whole point is to make sure that you, the viewer, are never tricked into thinking fake content is real.
And this push for transparency doesn't stop with deepfakes. You also have to be told when you're talking to a chatbot, so you know it's not a real person. The same goes for AI-generated text that gets published to inform the public. It has to be identified as machine-made. It's all about giving you the information you need to judge the content for yourself. So, after going through this whole pyramid of risk, what's the big takeaway? What does the world's first major AI law really mean, especially for everyone outside of the EU's borders?
For people in Europe, it creates some really strong new protections. For businesses, it means a strict new set of rules to play by. But its most profound impact might actually be its influence on the rest of the world.
This potential global influence actually has a name. It's called the Brussels effect. The idea is that because the EU is such a massive and lucrative market, global companies often find it's just easier to adopt Europe's high standards across all their products, rather than making different versions for different regions. We saw it happen with data privacy and GDPR, and a lot of people think we're about to see it again with AI.
Which leaves us with one final big question. By being the first to the party, has Europe effectively set the default global standard for how we regulate artificial intelligence? The answer to that question is going to shape the future of this technology for every single one of us. Only time will tell.